I have to look up to myself and do what's right for me. And everyone out there should do the same.
What's going on, you guys? So the UFC heavyweight champion, the former heavyweight champion, Francis Ngannou, as we all know, has departed from the sport of mixed martial arts. Now he's looking at the Wild Wild West. The Wild Wild West in the sport of boxing. Eddie Hearn said he'll love to make a fight with Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou. Hit that like button for your boy. We on Bushido Boxing TV. This is where we're going to be. Francis Ngannou, one of the heaviest hitters in combat sports today. Could we argue it? Right? Anything he touches seems to just fold, right? The only other fighter in combat sports that's hitting like Francis Ngannou is the bronze bomber Deontay Wilder. But Francis Ngannou has left from the UFC as a champion. Nobody beat him for his belt. He left due to disagreements as far as some business stuff goes, right? We're not going to get into the details there, but we're going to look at Francis Ngannou as a heavyweight boxer. 300-some pounds of solid muscle. Lethal puncher. Strong man. But could he compete with some of the best boxers in the world? He took to social media and said, "Who's next?" and posted a meme with the bronze bomber Deontay Wilder, the Gypsy King Tyson Fury, and AJ Anthony Joshua. So he's eyeing these three guys. Now, one guy he left out is Alexander Usyk. Now, maybe Francis Ngannou is looking at this thing as a money grab situation. Because let's be honest, Francis Ngannou is a heavyweight champion, one of the most popular fighters in the UFC. He wasn't really making any money, right? This is just what people were saying. He wasn't making as much. You know, you got ring card girls, Ariana Celeste, right? Longtime UFC ring card girl, making $1 million a year, making more money than Francis Ngannou, the fighter, the heavyweight champion of the world. It's just crazy, right? You see all these money memes all over social media showing the UFC fighters pay versus other sports or other people that's in the sport making more money that's not even throwing punches. Crazy, right? But Francis Ngannou left the UFC. Now he's looking at boxing to probably make some money. Didn't put Usyk on the list. Strange, because Usyk is the guy who's pretty much sitting at the top of the heavyweight mountain right now, unless you want to argue with Tyson Fury. But if you want to argue who got the more belts, or, you know, if you want to say Tyson Fury's win over the bronze bomber trumps that, who knows, right? Whatever. He left out Usyk, but he's looking at the three money guys, Wilder, Fury, and AJ. But Eddie Hearn says this, quote, "We're already in preliminary talks with Francis Ngannou. We didn't go too deeply into stuff, but I respect him greatly for the way he's handled his career to a point where now he's in a fantastic position. He has a new ocean to navigate now, which is a lot more rocky than the world of MMA and the UFC, in that he's in the wild west of boxing. I feel like he's probably wants to build a team of people around him that can make sure they can successfully navigate that ocean and maximize his potential." And that's right. Francis Ngannou moving forward, right? His management, his MMA team management may have to part ways as well. And he had to get a group of guys that's in boxing that's going to make sure Francis Ngannou is in the right position and gets in the right situations to make the most out of his time as a professional boxer. Francis Ngannou isn't necessarily a spring chicken. However, late 30s, mid 30s is still young for heavyweight fighters, right? Still young for the big guys. And Francis Ngannou isn't a fighter who took a lot of damage throughout his run as an MMA champion or MMA fighter. I mean, he was flatlining everybody. And if you beat him because you held him to the ground and things of that nature, right? If you did get a win over him. Then he says, "We'll see what happens. For me, we would love to be involved in his career. The Anthony Joshua fight is just probably amongst the biggest fights that can be made in any sport. Obviously, the Tyson Fury fight is there for him as well. Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou, the biggest fight, one of the biggest fights in combat sports. The Nigerian versus Cameroonian, and a fight between two heavyweight Africans. That would be interesting. He has a golden opportunity now to really solidify himself financially and many generations beyond him through being involved in an event that will be one of the biggest fights in fight sports history. Then he says, I think he could fight Anthony Joshua. I don't see there is any other conversation I had with Nate Diaz guys. These guys have a mountain to climb in terms of a challenge of fighting an elite boxer, but to go through the process of having 2 or 3 fights, one fight, one might look bad because you're learning, so the value is the unknown there. And yeah, so he pretty much goes on to say what happens if, Anthony Joshua collides with the heavyweight champion of mixed martial arts. 2 heavy hitters. Now, the fight between Joshua and Francis Ngannou, I think it could be really interesting, considering Francis has a puncher's chance against anybody. So a fight with AJ, I think I don't want to say it's the easiest fight, but I think a fight with the Bronze Bomber, 6'7". He's the lightest guy out of the 3. However, he's the biggest puncher of the 3. It could be interesting, right? And then the fight with Tyson Fury, the biggest of the biggest, right? One of the biggest fighters in combat sports, undefeated heavyweight champion, incredible recovery, really good fight IQ, knows all the tricks. All these fights are very, very intriguing matchups, if I might add. I don't know how these fights could play out, but hey, look, tell me what you guys think. Who's next for Francis Ngannou? How would he compete, or could he compete with some of the top heavyweight boxers in the world? Like, subscribe, holla at your boy. Peace out.